Welcome back to Gamer in the Wardrobe, where I play games in the comfort of my closet. We're going to be hopping into Set 5 spoilers, Week 2 recap, plus my new card reveal for Set 5. It's going to be at the end of the video, so you can jump there if you don't want to hear my Week 2 recap, but I'd really prefer you listen to it. So, let's hop right in. First things first, let's pause that. First card revealed for this Week 2 recap was the Clarity from the Shadows. I believe it was our first epic for this set. It's a 3-drop, 2 black pip, 2/2 body. Big thing to note here is this is a death card, so it will trigger the Death Contender ability, which is really cool. Also a Harbinger card, so it's going to synergize with a lot of the Harbinger packages, which is also really cool. And this card reads, triggered defeat, send another target clash card you control to Oblivion. So if this card is defeated, meaning it dies from non-clash, stat reduction, or clash damage, it triggered defeats. If it is sent to Oblivion, not the same thing. So a little bit of a downside, right? If it is defeated, you have to send another target clash card you control to Oblivion. One thing to note before I hop into the second ability is the Death Contender has an ability that says if a death clash card is defeated or sent to Oblivion, you may draw a card and give another clash card +1/+1. So pretty cool synergy there. The second ability of Clarity from the Shadows is during your primary phase, you may engage this card. If you do, send target clash card to Oblivion. So you play this out on turn 3, you don't even have to swing at anything. You can just simply engage or turn your card sideways, tap, whatever you want to call it, this clash card, and you can send target clash card to Oblivion. It could be one of yours, it could be an opponent's. Really, really cool card. It could be turn 3, it could be turn 6, easy removal, and really cool ability. Now, how I envision this synergizing with the current cards we know of is obviously the Death Contender. It's a death card, Death Contender, trigger Death's ability. But also, what it can synergize well with is the Clarity Harbinger of Death. It's a black-white, unrivaled card. And then when it enters, each opponent sends a clash card they control to Oblivion. Okay, so if you use this Clarity ability, before playing this Clarity, you could engage Clarity from the Shadows, send the card to Oblivion, then play Clarity Harbinger of Death to send your Clarity from the Shadows to Oblivion while also sending one of theirs to Oblivion, and then this actively becomes a 6/6 and you can draw a card. Pretty cool synergy there, but let's even go one step further with what I think is a really cool card for this is Spatial Gateway. Spatial Gateway is awesome. It's a 2-drop, 1 black pit clash ground. Trigger enter, you may activate the portal. Harbinger clash cards with an initial resource cost of 4 or less get trigger defeat. You may pay 1 resource of any color to return this card to your hand instead of putting it into your Oblivion. So, you have Spatial Gateway on the board, this is on the board, and this is defeated, you can pay 1 resource to just bring it right back to your hand. Pretty cool that you can just continually cycle this thing. Also, I Am Demise. This avoids the trigger by sending your own card to Oblivion. So you play Clarity from the Shadows, you engage her to send target clash card to Oblivion, then you play I Am Demise, which send target clash card you control to Oblivion, Clarity from the Shadows. If you do send target clash card you don't control to Oblivion. And then if the portal is open, you may put a clash card without Unrivaled from the Oblivion into your clash zone, engaged. If you do, contender loses X amount of health, right? So really cool synergies there as well, which I think could be really, really fun. And then also Dark Bargain. Let's say you engage this and they're going to try and kill it with a Pestilence. Dark Bargain, counter play. Each player sends clash card they control to Oblivion. Then each contender loses 1 health and each player draws a card. So you have Dark Bargain on the board, it's a trap, they try to just get rid of this easy removal with Pestilence. Oh, sorry, Dark Bargain, I'm just going to send it to Oblivion, and you don't get the trigger defeat ability on it. So, pretty nice. And then lastly, a cool one that I think is really significant is Sacrificial Strength. It can be played in any deck because it doesn't require any specific color to play, but you could send your Clarity from the Shadows to Oblivion with Sacrificial Strength, so they play a card to try and kill it. You say, nope, I'm going to send this away because you're going to defeat it anyway, and then I'm going to ready 2 resources because of that, which can set you up for your traps or your clash buffs and things like that. So really cool card there. Really excited to see that one get used and played. Next recap card is For the Discarded. It's a 2-drop, 2 black pip. Basic action. And if the portal is open, discarded clash cards get +1/+1 until the end of the turn. If the portal is closed, discarded clash cards get +0/+1 until the end of the turn. Really cool because it buffs everything. Now the other thing is it buffs discarded clash cards. So if you're playing against a Krung, it's going to buff theirs as well, right? If you're not, it's a complete board buff for your guys for 2 resources. Now how it synergizes is obviously your discarded cards. I didn't put all the discarded on here because that's pretty obvious. But Lord Krung is already going to be giving +1/+1 to all of your discarded. So Lord Krung, For the Discarded, +2/+2. It's pretty neat. This was kind of a cool one that I found. The Rizlak the Depraved is, I imagine For the Discarded, you're playing this card because you want to be aggressive, right? It's on your turn. It's a basic action, so you can't play it reactively to your opponent. So I assume you're going to be swinging in with some of your stuff, and maybe your opponent's going to be blocking. That's where this Rizlak Depraved from set 1 comes in. It has, if 3 or more alphas and or discarded clash cards were defeated this turn, you may reduce the resource cost to play this card by 3 black pips. So you play For the Discarded. Let's say you trade with an alpha, so 1 discarded and 1 alpha dies, and then 1 more discarded dies. You can play a 5/2 for 2 resources. And then it would also get the buff from Lord Krung if he's on the board, or Remote Cave if it's on the board, so on and so forth. A couple other cool synergies. Remote Cave, I think, is a really unique card. If you're being more aggressive as a discarded player, you get +1 until end of turn for Trigger Enter, and then an additional +1 static across the board for all discarded clash cards. And then alphas and rogues get -2 attack. So Remote Cave, let's say you hypothetically can play both of these on your turn. You play Remote Cave, you give a +2/+0 to all discarded, and then you play For the Discarded with the portal being open. Now you have a static +3/+1 to all of your discarded, not including the buffs from Lord Krung and things like that. Same thing with Shadowforge Talisman. Maybe you're afraid they have Dragonheart, or maybe you're afraid that they're going to have a clash buff that's really going to mess up your game plan. Drop Dragonheart, have Dragonheart on the board, they can no longer play clash buffs, which makes your math and decision making a lot easier. It also has the trigger enter of +1/+0. Another one would be Rizlak, Ferocious Threat. Obviously, this is the portal control, so if you need easy portal activation to get the additional +1 attack on For the Discarded, you can discard Rizlak, activate the portal, and then if you have enough, you can bring him back to make an appearance to get the buff from For the Discarded as well, because he is a discarded clash card. And then lastly, this one I thought was kind of cool, because Lord Krung has ways where you can use Torment, whether it's with, I think, the Rallying Club or his contender ability in general. Torment means your opponent has to double block if you swing. So if you have Totem of the War Chief on board attached to a discarded, let's say the 7/5 Lord Krung, you attach the Totem of the War Chief, you have For the Discarded played, you have a Krung on board. Well, this is now like a 10/7, a 10/8, and it gets potentially you can add Torment to it with your contender or Rallying Club. I think there's some cool synergies that could be played there. Again, I think this is more of an offensive Lord Krung card, which I think is going to be really cool to see coming in the new set and some of the Krung package we see in set 5. Okay, this is a pretty cool epic card. It's an epic quick action, and it's From Life to Death. It's 5 cost, but you can pay 4 life of your own life to reduce this card's cost by 4 black pips, or 1 black pip per life. So if you wanted to reduce it by 2, you would pay 2 life to make this a 3 cost 2 black pip card. You may reduce the health by 1 cost for each health, right? I like this card because it can be played in any contender deck. Also, it's a counter attack from your hand. Send target clash card with an initial resource cost of 5 or less. You don't control to Oblivion, then banish this card. Really, really strong quick action for basically 4 life and 1 resource. I think in a lot of scenarios, I would take that trade, right? Also, one thing I wanted to note is this dagger seems to be showing up quite a bit. This little Clarity's dagger back here, right? You see him here as well. So I'm excited for the potential of a Clarity dagger weapon, contender weapon. I don't know. I know we already have Clarity's dagger, but maybe they're going to make some sort of additional appearance. Okay. So how does this work with some of the cards I'm recommending? Well, first and foremost, the Clarity, the new Clarity from set 5 is a black-white dual contender, so it can flip from side to side. And the white contender can also play Triumphant Revitalization. And this doesn't say the clash card attacking is sent to Oblivion, it's just send target clash card. So you could potentially take 4 damage, send the card to Oblivion, an opponent card, let's say the legendary Genesis hypothetically, take 4 damage from life after death, and then maybe take a damage or obstruct or whatever with the card they're attacking with, play Triumphant Revitalization, gain 3 health back, +1/+1, and draw a card. And this can all be played on this Clarity contender, which also can draw a card and I believe heals whenever you play non-clash cards for the first time each turn. So there's a lot to take in there, but still a pretty cool synergy. I also think this could be a really cool card with Genesis as a contender. Just because, again, it costs 1. He's a 30 health contender. It's really kind of cheeky resource removal or removal from hand for target attack, counter attack. So I think Genesis could really benefit from this, especially with it being basically colorless. And then a couple other cool ones I thought that were interesting is if you have Sacrificial Strength up and you ready 2 resources, maybe you have 1 resource up already, you ready 2 more, you could play Life After Death and Ancient Power in the same turn on a counterattack, killing off maybe the card that isn't attacking and then banishing the card that is attacking to a weapon or to something like the Clarity Warhammer or the Legendary Helm, right? Stuff like that. And then this was just kind of a fun one. Maybe they're pretty confident because they have a Clash Ground on the board. So same thing, counterattack. If the portal's open, return target Clash Ground to its owner's hand. I still think this card is terrible, but wanted to put it in here as an option. Next card is Baiting. It's a green Clash buff, costs 1 green. You may play this card if your contender is green. Target Clash card you control, not defending this Clash, gets +0/+2, and becomes the new defender for this Clash. Then draw a card. I think this is kind of a cool little synergy you could use with Necrotic cards. You could use with Whistler combination. So the Whistler is a cool card where you basically say that they have to attack a specific thing for their first attack. So, you have the 5/5 Avenging guy with Whistler. They go to attack something, you can redirect it, there's a lot of ways you can use this to distract or manipulate your opponent's turn on their turn while still surviving. So I thought that was kind of a cool potential synergy, and it's green. A couple other things I think are neat is Trigger Victory cards are pretty cool. So for instance, this Conquest, if they swing in with something that only has 2 health hypothetically, you could send the Baiting +0/+2 and make this Conquest the new defender, trigger defeat in that scenario, he restands and then gets +1 attack. So kind of a cool little thing you can do there. And then the same thing with Sonorosonic Blaster, right? It's already a 3/4. It would become a 3/6, and then you may engage target Clash card you control on Trigger Victory. So they swing, you redirect it to Sonorosonic Blaster, he gets Trigger Victory, you engage a card you control, and if you do, put a Clash card with an initial resource cost of 2 or less from your Oblivion into play. So, could be a way where you could kill something and get a card back, and a new blocker because it doesn't come back into play engaged. Lastly, I think baiting will also work really well with cards that have super speed because you can basically just hit them, they die, and you don't. So pretty neat card. Also really like this art. I think the background's pretty cool, how it's kind of like almost grainy, which is unique to me. But I really like the art on this card. I think it's pretty cool. All right, Adjacent Rooftop. I strategically put this one towards the end because of the Avenging Guy options. You may notice in the bottom right here, there's a question mark. Adjacent Rooftop is a 3-cost, 2 green pip. If the source of your opponent controls you would deal non-clash damage to a contender or clash card you control, it deals that much damage -1 instead. So Torque basically doesn't do anything with his contender ability. Crimson Scales doesn't do anything. Boom only does... Boom only does 4. Basically everything. Solar Smash only does 2. So this could be a really cool card in like a Pestilence deck, right? Not that it has to be Avenging Guy, although that's probably where it's going to see the most play. It could be cool in just decks that are trying to mitigate non-clash damage. But it also has trigger Enter. Reveal X Avenging Guy clash cards from your hand. If you do, deal X non-clash damage to target clash card where X is the number of Avenging Guy clash cards revealed this way. So, currently, I believe there are 4 Avenging Guy clash cards. We have Avenging Guy, we have Avenging Guy Trying to Help, we have Avenging Guy the Distractor, and I underline Distractor because I think that's the new keyword is Distract. He also has a really cool ability, Interception, trigger attack, non-token clash card you control, get +1/+1 until end of turn, and this card must be obstructed if able. Again, going back to like baiting and the Whistler and the Distractor, this is kind of shaping up to be a really nice mid-range deck in my opinion. But another Avenging Guy, we have Avenging Guy that doing stuff, who brings out the Whistler, turns any of these +2/+2 based on the Whistler stat line. And then I also threw Hunker Down in here because, again, if you hypothetically have this on the board, Hunker Down only has to do, it basically can do everything but for 1 less resource because this is mitigating 1 of that non-clash damage. So kind of a cool thing potentially for Boom and things like that. Now that leads us into the reveal. Now, I want to preface this with, this art is fantastic. You guys ready for this? Avenging Guy, preparing for combat with his shake weight. He's literally doing a shake weight. How fantastic is this? And I think it's fantastic because I think this card has the potential to make it into a lot of your decks. Let me explain. But imagine just like 3 shake weight Avenging Guys just like sitting there staring at your opponent. Like, come on, that is fantastic, right? So let's go over the Avenging Guy preparing for combat. He's 3 cost green, 2 green pip, and here's where it gets spicy. Trigger Enter. Look at the top 5 cards of your deck. You may reveal a non-clash card with an initial resource cost of 2 or less. Non-clash card. It doesn't say accessory, it does just non-clash card with an initial resource cost of 2 or less. If you do, put it into your hand, then put the remaining cards on the bottom of your deck in any order. Okay, first thought, Machina, obviously. Machina, get your accessories, whatever, blah, blah, blah. But then I was like, wait, didn't Jacob Snodgrass and his team just do really, really well with Kagan, who plays non-clash cards for the equipment and contender weapons and blah, 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 blah. So I specifically circled the helm, the armor, the mace, and the shield. Now here's the thing, the armor is 3 cost, so you can't find that. But you can find the mace, you can find the shield, and it does not say unrivaled. So you can literally grab the Dragon Helm. If you play this card and the Dragon Helm is sitting there, you can now grab it. That is nuts! Absolutely nuts. In my opinion, this is going to be an auto-include in all Koggin decks. It's already green, Koggin's going to play green, and it searches 5 deep for a non-clash card that costs 2 or less, which is your Dragon Helm, your Mace, or your Shield. So, amazing. That's fantastic. Also, it can grab out Dragonheart. It can grab out your Clash buffs. It can grab out Infestation. It can grab out Augmented Reality. Just so many really cool things that this card is going to be able to search for, which I have in this list. Any non-Clash card 2 or less. That means literally every single Clash buff in the game can be found, searched, and grabbed by this card. Infestation, Dragonheart, Augmented Reality, Triumphant Revitalization, Domination, Under Pressure, Accessories. That's weapons, contender weapons, traps, relics, 1 cost, Fire Mace, Controlling the Situation, Target List, Plague Forge Scrap, and 2 costs, the Dragon Helm, the Sniper Javelin for War of the Javelineer, Ballistic Shield for Shadow Light or making your guys hard to remove, Flame Shield, Shrapnel for Machina. And then your actions. It gives you access to Ancient Power, Ancient Protection, Magnate's Plan, Harvest of Souls, Lefty's Last Stand, Solar Smashes, and then also Clash Grounds. It can even find Clash Grounds, War's Dominion, Frontline, Spatial Gateway, Denver, Detroit, Amazon Rainforest. And this is all not even knowing what's coming out with this set. Because I assume there's going to be more Avenging Guy weapons and contender weapons coming really soon. So this is going to be a fantastic card in my opinion. If you guys have made it this far, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. I really appreciate the views, and I hope you guys enjoyed the Avenging Guy shake weight doing stuff. And what was it? The Avenging Guy preparing for combat. I'm just going to call him Shake Weight Avenging Guy or the Shake Waiter. But feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. Peace out. See you guys next time. Hope you enjoyed Spoiler Season so far.